done a lot of flashlight reviews over the last couple of months, but no flashlight that I reviewed has come this close to having me use the B word. And you guys know, if you've watched my channel, what I'm talking about. I don't know if I can call these the best flashlights I've ever used, but they are really making me consider it. So I want to tell you exactly why that is in this review. All right, so what do we have here? So these are Sofrin flashlights, and that is an OEM in China that makes actually a whole variety of different brands are made by Sofrin, but they also have their own flashlights. And this one is actually powered by either a AA or a 14500. And this is a 14500. They run at 3.7 volts, so you get much higher outputs. We're going to treat them all in one review because they're very, very similar, okay? And you'll see why. They even have interchangeable parts. And we'll start with the quality on these flashlights. The quality on these flashlights is very good. The threading is not gritty. They're properly lubricated. The O-rings are in good shape. The contacts look good. The pocket clips are acceptable. They're not ideal, but they're acceptable. The buttons all are in good shape and well formed. The heat sink sections of the body, the texturing, it's all good. So basically you're getting a 3 out of 5 stars for that. Next category I want to talk about is the user interface. And this is where things get really good with this flashlight. So using the right angle version, I currently, I believe, have it in lockout. So let me just double check. No, I do not have it in lockout. So I will talk about that at the very end. So from off, the cool thing about this flashlight is you can access the lowest and the highest output directly from the user interface. You don't have to worry about potentially being saved on the highest output and you just want a little bit of light and then blowing out your vision. So you can hold press and you can get the lowest output setting, or you could double press and get the highest output setting. And the double press will work regardless of whether you're in any of the other modes. It will automatically go straight to turbo. Okay, the other thing that I will mention, although I won't actually show, is it does have a strobe with 3 presses, but I don't recommend using it in any context for any reason. Just keep that in mind. Now, if I want to use one of the memorized modes, I just press it one time. And it's going to come in on whatever of the 3 settings that you had on last. So if I cycle through it by hold press, 1, 2, 1, there you go. 3 different outputs, right? So I turn it off, turn it back on, I will come in on that output. So there you go. That gives you all of the different mode sets depending on how you want it. And you can also come in on the lowest output, the moonlight, and then from there, let go, and then cycle back up through all 4 of those modes, excluding the turbo, okay? So either way you look at it, you're not going to be in a situation where you're going to come in on an output that you don't want. All right? So easily, these 2 flashlights, which have the same user interface, gets a 4 out of 5 stars because they have that quick access to those other modes. The Pro version of the SP10 is a little bit different though. This actually has Anduril 2.0, which is a fully customizable e-switch user interface. I can't go into it. As you will see here, the diagram is quite complicated, but all you need to know is that if you had an ideal flashlight in mind and a certain way you wanted it to work, you could program this flashlight to do exactly that. You can even tell it at what temperature to go from one setting to another. It's incredibly complicated, but very customizable. So this actually has a 5-star user interface. If you're willing to go through the hassle, this is your flashlight. Just keep in mind that it does have a pretty steep learning curve. Now outputs, we've talked about briefly, 1,000 lumens with 3400 candela. That puts it well up in some of the best outputs that you can get in this size range. There are some that have higher overall candela rating, like the Streamlight ProTac, which has 6400 candela, so in other words, more throw. But these are very, very good for daily use. They give a lot bigger spread and a very nice light. In fact, that's kind of something I want to talk about a little bit as well. These are using a next generation emitter. and that emitter is the Samsung LH351. Now, I know if you've never seen flashlights before, all this is going to seem like gibberish. What you need to know from what I'm saying is that you're going to get high output with good color, in other words, like a nice warm light, and it's going to be very kind to your eyes. And that term for that is CRI. It has a 90 plus CRI with a 5,000 Kelvin emitter at 1,000 lumens and 3,400 candela. All I can say is you're not sacrificing at anything at all with this flashlight. You got a little bit of everything for whatever you're looking for. It's got a decent throw. It's got great up close spread. No matter how you look at it, this is a really good choice, this emitter. Now, run times, I'm not going to get into run times for every mode, but I will put an image of the run time, so feel free to pause at this point and take a look. And that is also really, really, really impressive as well. Some of the much, much better than average. So for both the output and runtime, this gets a solid 4 out of 5 stars. It could theoretically be better, but I haven't seen many that are much better than this, right? Output may be a little bit better, and so there's always a chance that something could reach that 5-star rating. But yeah, as of right now, 4 stars, absolutely amazing. Now, the next category we can talk about is versatility. How is the versatility of these flashlights? Well, as I said, they have customizable user interfaces in the case of the Pro version, but that doesn't really count towards versatility in my head. What I'm thinking when I say versatility is how easy is it to use for whatever you're doing. So the options to have reversible pocket clips, magnetic attachments, the right angle functionality, all of these things add to the versatility of the flashlight. So this is where they're all going to differ a little bit. So looking at the base model, you have a solid 3 out of 5 stars. However, and I forgot I switched it by accident, it comes with a non-magnetic tail cap, but you can actually buy the magnetic cap from Sofren, and then you can actually use it in a much more versatile way. So with that, it probably goes between 3 and 4 stars in my head. This is definitely a 4-star flashlight, and the reason is not only is it right angle, which is quite useful because even if you don't have a hat, you can simply clip this on your collar of your shirt, your t-shirt, or whatever it happens to be, and you can direct it exactly where you want it. It also comes standard with a magnetic tail cap, and it comes with a head strap for being used if you want to do it that way. So it's a headlamp as well as a pocketable flashlight. So solid 4 out of 5 stars. I guess in theory, it could even be a 5 out of 5. But I want to leave something open to potentially be better than this. As it sits, it's about as good as it gets. All right, the last category, and this is where we're going to conclude things also. The last category on this is value. What's the value of this flashlight like? It doesn't get any better. Frankly, it doesn't. This flashlight, the SP10 V3, with the non-magnetic tail cap, is currently being sold on Amazon for well under $20. I think the last time I looked, it was like $18. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, I think it's like $16 for this. It has incredible heat management with a very, very, very good emitter, the ability to use a standardized fuel source as well as a 14500. And yeah, you combine all the factors here, and I don't think we can argue for anything other than a 5 out of 5 rating on value. And that is why I gotta say, if you're going to pick up a flashlight in the budget realm, this is the, well, I don't want to say best, but it's certainly one that I don't think you'll be upset with. Let's just put it that way. Well, thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. And just for the record, none of these were sent to me by Sofren. None of them. I purchased all 3, and I could not be happier with my purchase. So I probably should have said that at the beginning, but yes, these were something that I decided to invest in for research, and man, what a good choice that was. Anyway, you guys have a good one, and we'll talk again soon.